tighten one of these. That's looking really pretty. Hey, I'm back. Welcome to Bisque and Pieces. Johanna's painting a tree, and she saw this one and she said, "Oh, I like those colors." And I said, "Well, that's what we'll do." So, first, how are you?
I'm doing great.
It's been what, 6 years since
Oh
I've
my
been
gosh,
here?
it's been way
I
too
know.
long.
So
Yes.
it's a whole new thing, a whole new thing. If anything good came out of COVID, which really nothing did, except I've been painting for 30 years, almost 30 years, and I started at Maryland's House of Ceramics here in Wadsworth. And Brad and I last winter, of course it was a lockdown and everything, so what do? You're on Facebook all day. And we came across a deal we couldn't pass up. Somebody had bought some property in Barberton that came with a huge barn that was just, it had been a business at one time, a ceramic business. And you could tell by the cobwebs it hadn't been used for years and years. And the guy that bought the property wanted everything out. So Brad and I were one of the first ones there, and we went back 4 days in a row, and we're just hauling molds out of there. He'd open one of these molds, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, honey, we have to have that because, oh, back in the day that was so popular," and getting teary-eyed just thinking about it. But ceramics is making a huge comeback, I'm telling you. So we purchased a kiln, and we just started. He learned how to pour. A lady at church had a business in her basement for years, and she's a lot older now, and she can't do it anymore. And she's been Goldie's just been a font of information for us, and she taught him how to pour. I've got pictures. I really wasn't prepared to do this today. I know that comes as a surprise to a lot of you, but the next couple shows are going to be a little bit more organized, and we'll start with greenware. We'll start from the beginning and go all the way up. I plan on having guests that have ceramic shops in the area, because we all want to support those, and teach us different techniques and things like that, because Lord knows I don't know. I mean, this is how much there is to know. This circle, you fill that in, that's 100% to know about ceramics. I know a little wedge like this, so we're going to learn together. But anyway, so that's what Brad and I started. We called it Bisque and Pieces, and we ship a lot of bisques, so it's been a real learning experience. Your dining room, you're supposed to eat in and not use it for a shipping department, but you do what you got to do.
Like soup bisque?
That's what happens when you have a home business.
Soup bisque tastes a whole lot better, trust me. Because soup bisque, that's funny. Now I got to bring some in. I used to bring food in all the time, remember?
We did. We used to eat all the time.
Yeah, our show, Home Sense, had a lot to do with food, which made no sense at all. But anyway, so we're going to start with trees. Trees are huge. They're popular. You can do anything with them. And this is a Halloween tree that I'm working on for somebody. It's not done yet. I'm going to have a little glitter bat going on here, but I just stuck that there for now. You can do for any holiday. I have a patriotic tree. My grandson Alec just graduated boot camp at Fort Sills. And if anybody was a diehard, I don't know if there were any out there, a Home Sense
there was
fan.
a handful, yes.
You remember seeing him dressed as a little Dalmatian for our Halloween party we did. He was like, I know, he was like this big, and I should have brought I don't know, I should have brought a picture of him, but Brad got to go out for his graduation. I wasn't able to get away for that, but they had a really good time, and we're so proud of him. And so I have a little patriotic tree, but like I said, you can do anything. These are acrylics, which is what Johanna's doing on her tree, and we're going to go over her little process here in a minute. But most people are familiar with trees being glazed, and we do glaze them, but a lot of people that buy their bisques, they don't have the means of doing glazes because they don't have a kiln, and those need refired again. So their choice is to paint them. So that's what's going on there. I wanted to show you, where's my, oh, did I bring it? Oh, here it is. It looked like a big tree. This we did not pour. Brad pours the molds. We both clean the greenware. He loads the kiln, unloads the kiln because I don't want to. And then our greenware turns into bisque. So This we did not pour. This came with, a lot of times when we go on mold hunts, that's what it's called. I have mold fever, I'm sorry.
That sounds like a new HGTV show, mold hunt.
Mold hunting. A lot of times we can purchase stuff that was left behind or whatever. So this came, and I'm going to show you, and John, if you could zoom in on this for me, I'm going to show you when you're buying your bisque what you don't want to buy, okay? And this happens a lot. And I try to clean my greenware like you can't even tell it's poured. But if you can zoom in on the bottom, this was not cleaned well at all. You can see, I have to learn this all over again. There's a crack right there. You can see just the seams, and there's gouges, and I don't know if that's really picking up or not, but like is it? Okay, like the seam of this mold went down this way, and you can literally see it, and you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that at all. Now, sometimes you will see a seam, but if you close your eyes and you rub your finger over it, if you can't feel it, you're not going to see it when it's painted, when it's finished. So, yeah, so this, and it's got stuff splattered on it. So this is a trash tree. We won't be doing anything with that. It served its purpose, though. So we have a tree. This is fun. What's fun about trees is this one, and Brad knows the names, the numbers. It could be Mako, it could be Byron, it could be Atlantic, it could be Alberta. I don't know, but I don't know what this one is. I apologize. My job is to paint them. Okay, so you can make these bigger because we have the ring molds. So this is a branch extension. So there's another branch extension that goes under this. So it's like, it can be this tall. And people, I'm on a lot of Facebook ceramic pages, and go to Facebook and look some of these up. They're fantastic. They are a font of information I have made. There's one called Addicted to Ceramics. There's one called Ceramic Friends. And you can get on there and ask questions. I do it all the time. I've made friends through there. These people, there's a couple that are just dedicated for Christmas trees. And all year long, people display these. They take over their houses, and it is so interesting to look at. One lady, her husband took 2 ladders, one on each side of the family room with the boards going across, and she's got all her trees up all year long. Myself, I wouldn't want to dust them, but yeah, so people just love trees, and I really didn't get it until we started pouring them, and then it kind of got fun. So, so let's talk about what Johanna's doing. Now, she is using acrylics. Normally, a lot of people, when they use acrylics, it's a technique called dry brushing, and I'm going to go over that next week. And what you do is you start with a dry brush, you load a little paint on it, and you work it in the brush, and then you're basically, I have an apron, I'll bring it in. I've had it for years, you'll be able to tell. It comes out of the dryer stiff. That's how much paint is in it. And a lot of people have different ways they dry brush. Myself, I load up my brush, I wipe it out a little bit, and then go like this on my apron or on my leg. Sometimes I'm not wearing my apron, and then you just dry brush over your antiquing, which that's something else we'll get into next week. So, but for what Johanna's doing, she's not base coating, she's not antiquing, she's just painting on. She's got 4 colors on her palette. And these paints, and I can't stress this enough, if you can support a local ceramic shop that sells really good paints, I'm talking about Mako, Duncan, Kimple, there's more than that, please do so and support these shops. We need to keep them going. But there's times, there's colors I can't get to, or you may not have a shop in your area, and you go to Michael's or you go to Hobby Lobbies. My choice then is Anita's, because it's just the less expensive paints. The pigments aren't good, and you're using more than what you would for a better paint, you know, if that makes sense. So, but now here's what I love. I use Duncan, and I get these in the big ones, and I get them wholesale, of course. I go down to Hilliard and get them by the case. And that's what I base coat with when I'm doing black. This tree was base coated black, and then I put the colors over it. But Duncan stains are are really good. My favorite was Donna's, and I think you can still get them. I haven't really researched it yet, but I love Donna stains and antiquings. You know what? Brad and I just came across a little gold mine, and I bought boxes of text sheets and catalogs. Now, we haven't got our Facebook page up and going yet. We don't have a website up and going yet. Just not prepared, but we will. And if anybody out there, because you will be able to watch this we're going to have a YouTube channel. So if anybody out there,
And they can watch it on demand on watchwctv.com.
there you go.
Yes.
There you go. I don't think did you have that when we had Home Sense? I don't think so.
I don't think we did, no. So all of our
Wow.
programming is available online.
Okay. And if you do paint and you have a piece of bisque, and a lot of times on those Facebook pages, people will say, I'm looking for a text sheet. Ask me. If I have it, I will get you the instructions to it, because it is the old Donna catalogs. I think one was from 1988. Oh, and I found out her story, but I'm not going to get into that. That'll bore a lot of people. So, how you doing on that tree?
I'm doing great.
Do you know what kind of lights you're going to want to put in it?
I think I'm going to want white lights.
White lights?
I think so.
Okay. I don't have white in these, but in the style.
What color do you have?
No. I have white, but
Okay.
not in this style of bulb.
Okay.
So
I think white will be really pretty, and I do love the snow with the
we
glitter.
will do that. Your tree will be all
Yes.
painted next week. So
Okay.
maybe I will have you back on so you can cap
Okay.
it off.
Okay.
There you go. And then
Yeah.
Brad will take it home and wire it. He does all the wiring. And you'll have your tree.
How fun!
And
This is really
now
fun.
there's a base that goes with that, of course. I didn't bring it. It basically, whoops, is a base like this, but it's smaller. And your lighting goes up. Oh, you know what? I can show you. Let me just show you what it looks like. And there you are. I just blinded myself.
Wow.
So your light.
There you go.
There you go. Hey, my old little saying. That's special. So, John, how have you been? Did you miss me? I know you did. Don't lie.
You know what?
I was so much work.
We have missed everyone since COVID because we haven't been doing as many studio shows. We've been,
I bet.
having people do things remotely. So we haven't had people actually in the studio for a while, and now we're slowly coming back to some normal operations,
good.
and hopefully it stays that way.
Remember the show I did where I brought my cookbooks in? Whose show was that I was on? What's her name's? Family Focus.
Joyce Johnson.
Love you, Joyce Mina. I gave her a big box of perfume one day. Anyways, I brought all these recipes my aunt gave me in this box. It's about this big, and they're all vintage. In fact, when we were going through them, one of them was my great-great-grandmother's death notice. And on the back of it was a Sloppy Joe recipe.
Oh my goodness.
And then it had a thing attached to it, and it said, Mother died, and it had the date. Funeral will be, and it had the time it had the place. Well, then apparently my great-grandma Hattie was writing down the responses from the telegrams because all of the siblings lived in California, but Grandma and her mom lived up here. And she got a response that said, can't come, not able. Please spend $40 on flowers from family. The recipe for the Sloppy Joes is on back. I don't know. It was the funniest thing.
I bet it's better than my recipe of sloppy joes. Package of ground beef and a can of manwich.
Yeah.
Done.
I do that, but I add onion and brown sugar
Got
and a little Worcestershire sauce. Guess what I made last night, John? Well, actually, I made it a while back and froze it, and then we served it last night. I made 3-meat chili.
3 meat. What were the 3 meats?
It was, for my ceramic Facebook friends that I have that are going to watch this, you're going to get a lot of stuff besides ceramics. So go ahead and turn the channel whenever. And every kid in America that's watching is going, what's a channel?
Well, when you and I
What's
are
a
together,
channel?
you know we're always
Turn
talking
the
about
knob.
recipes and food.
Oh, I know.
Because we're both foodies.
Well, anyway, so the chili was roasted pork, pulled pork,
Ooh.
and then it had ground beef and it had ground pork. So that, or sausage rather, I'm sorry, mild.
I'm good. I'm glad it wasn't a Roger Polk recipe with venison, liver, and squirrel.
I have some of that in my freezer.
Oh my goodness
Not
gracious.
liver. I don't eat. I loved my mom's liver and onions when I was little, but then I grew up and found out what that organ actually did. So,
Yeah.
no more liver for me. But
So
anyway,
I'm squirting this with a little water
so
as
now,
I go, right?
You know what? Oh my gosh, I was just getting ready to bring that up because my
Yes.
eyes landed on the bottle.
Yes.
Now, people do this different, and some people don't do it at all. I learned it on a ceramic YouTube channel. So, see, you learn all the time. My choice is to take this spray bottle right there and just spray my piece a little bit at a time as I paint. This is for base coating. It just helps it go on smoother. I think the paint goes on a little, stretches the paint out a little longer. Some people dip their brush in the water and tap it out. I don't do that. I like to spray it. So that's what Johanna's doing as she goes. And what she's going to want to do is turn that upside down. Now, normally I paint my trees. I start with the bottom and under the branches, and then I'll flip it and I'll come down. But for the show's sake, so you could see the color and her progress, we went ahead and had her start from the top. That is really pretty.
So pretty.
That is really pretty. And those are metallics. Those aren't just flats, mattes. Those are metallics.
And I'm not really putting on the paint real thick. I'm just
What she's doing
dabbing
is
it.
she's dabbing or tipping her brush into each color and then wiping it, just tapping it a little bit, and then she's brushing on. But she can go back to the top and she can just take one color.
Okay.
John, can
I was
you
going to
zoom-
ask you
Oh,
that if
don't
I could
have
go
my
over the top.
star. Well, son of a gun, it's over in that box. Oh well, we all know what a star looks like. I started up here, and I should have brought my other turntable. It started out more purpley, but as you make your way down, it gets more blue. Is that on?
I can tell that, yes.
Oh, it is on. Okay. Yeah. So it as you go around, this one did turn out really pretty. I wasn't sure when the lady told me blue. I made a blue deer once. It didn't work out at all, but I was really happy, and she loves it. I asked her if I could keep it till I did today, and she said yes. So.
I need a little more of the darkest one. Would that be this one?
Yes, shake it well. Oh, it might be the one next to it. I can't tell from here because of the lights. Shake it well. There'll be a little oil at the top.
Okay.
Yeah, that's coming along really good. And then what you're going to want to do is turn it upside down to look for any white spots, little specks.
Okay.
And then we'll take if you have them, you can take a smaller brush to fill those in.
Okay.
But you really using, what's that, honey?
It's fabulous.
It's
Her nail polish.
That's what I told her, and she didn't even plan that. She did that for a baby shower.
I did. My nephew's having a little boy, and I had a shower for him Sunday.
Yeah. Very cute, very cute. I have to get back to my recipe story. So I started writing a cookbook.
Enough about ceramics.
Yeah, enough about ceramics. I started writing a cookbook. I'm in a couple writing clubs, and it's called Not Your Mother's Cookbook. Time to get your vintage on. Don't judge me, or something like that. I think I said that backwards. Time to get your vintage on. Not your mother's cookbook. Don't judge me. But it's a chapter book, so I talk about the first chapter is there's an introduction, of course, and Brad's in it throughout because he's a lot of the cooking hazards, and it's really funny. What is that?
Step one of producing is turn your phone off.
Oh, I think that's
Is that
my
your
mom.
phone?
It is. Hello.
Nothing stops a TV show.
Well, yeah,
Not
Joanna's
even-
sitting here, and she says nothing stops a TV show.
Not
I'm
even
filming.
your mom calling.
How are
That's
ya?
right.
Oh, you don't have to whisper, Mom. They can't hear you. I'll call you back.
I'll just keep painting, and you talk
Bye.
to your mom.
All done. That's funny. Mom's
is
been on the
funny.
show lots of times. And she actually came on with her book. And she is on her third children's book right now. So,
Aw.
but that's another story.
I remember someone
So-
whose wife was was pregnant, very, very pregnant with twins, and he was on a show one time, and she called him, and he picked up the phone and said, Are you in labor? Okay, I'll call you back. She wasn't.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I just feel like I am. But let me show you what we're going to work on. Or actually, I'm doing these up. It is September. What's today? The
22nd.
22nd. Oh, my gosh.
2021.
And, we're going to be working on this little guy for our next show. I'll be working on him while she finishes her tree. And, oh, I want to tell you about a craft show coming up. October 2nd at the Colony Lanes. It's a what's it called? Freaky Fright, something like that. I should know, I
We'll
apologize.
put the slide up next
I'm
show.
in it, and we'll be having a lot of these guys. So that's my last show because I don't have time to do shows anymore. I can't. There we go. That's what they look like done. Except you know what I do, John? I put a little cigar in their mouth. Doesn't he look like he should have a cigar?
Yep.
So I buy those cherry sweets and I let them burn down a little bit and then I snip it off.
You smoke them down, don't you?
No, I don't. Sorry. But sometimes I like the way they smell, the cherry ones. And yeah, we add a little cigar to that, so that's fun. You can get these at Perfect Match Decor too. So what's that?
I
You
love that
store?
store.
I know.
I
It is
love
so
that
fun.
store.
So fun. Love walking in there.
Yes.
They're getting an Italian restaurant next door to them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be, it'll smell awesome. It won't only look awesome, it'll smell awesome with
Yes.
all that Italian food.
Yes.
So, so what else do I want to talk about? I've got 5 minutes.
So how can people contact you if they have questions?
Well, they can't do it by website or Facebook page yet, but
But they can
you
call
can call
you
me
or email.
or email us, and it's Bisque and the word and Bisque and Pieces 1 at AOL.com. And my daughter's like, really, Mom? AOL, isn't that like obsolete? And I told Johanna that, and she goes, are they still around? So, but that's how you can contact us. And if you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. If I don't know the answers, I will get them for you. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go home and do a pumpkin those colors.
So pretty.
You know,
And
now
these
that
are-
I think about it, these are only 3. So there's an extra one in there, which I think is making it a little bit darker.
3 colors,
There's 3 in this one.
3 shades.
I think
3
there's
shades.
4 shades in that one.
Okay.
But
I
yeah,
really
that's turning
like
out
it.
really
So when
good.
you fire it, does the color change?
That does not get fired. That's not a
Oh, it
glaze.
doesn't.
You don't
Okay.
fire acrylics.
Okay.
That's why
So it's gonna be
But a
this-
lot of people don't like their trees to be painted acrylic because they, you know, now when you're done with that, before we put the lights and whatnot in it, we'll put
Like
a sealer
clear
on it.
coat? Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that'll, you know, keep the paint intact. It'll make it a little shinier and whatnot. But what I do is, and I don't, this one I just finished, almost finished, so I haven't put but we get those little felt tabs. I buy them by the, and we put them between we stick them on the base, and we put them, it goes between the base and the tree so it doesn't scratch. You know, a lot of people want the glazed, and a little tip, if you do have a glazed tree, a vintage one or whatnot, and you have a chip in it, go ahead and find an acrylic color to match it, and just put a little bit of that on the chip, and then cover it with clear fingernail polish, and you fix your chip.
Good tips.
So, yeah, you'll see a lot of these, especially this time of year, in secondhand shops, Goodwills. I just bought a vintage, we have a mold, it's not a tree, it's a wreath. I'm going to bring it on one of these days, and it sits in a bow base. And we had just bought the large mold and the small mold. We drove to Lorraine to get it. And at the Seville yard sale, I found one. And they wanted $5 for it. And it was painted in 1982 or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
So I bought it so Brad could see what it looked like, you know, poured and whatnot. And it was painted in the old, you know, the old technique was just painting on solid. You know, that was before people got into the antiquing and the dry brushing and things like that. So I paid $5 for it, and you know what? I passed on the love, and I put it on one of my ceramic pages. I said, first person to respond gets it for $5. Oh my gosh, the responses. But the first person that responded got it, and I wrapped it up and shipped it, and she says, your packaging is phenomenal. And I was like, thanks, Brad did it. But
I think these trees bring back a lot of memories though
They
for people
do.
too, because I know my grandmother always had
back
one.
in the 70s and 80s, they were
Not
so
a blue one,
popular.
a traditional one, but
Yeah.
they were very popular.
And these are all older molds. Now, the companies do come out with new ones, you know, and Brad and I actually are getting rid of quite a few molds because, you know, we're limited on space, and you can only have so much. And right now, we park in our driveway because the garage he built shelves are full of molds. He pours, and we have our cleaning station, everything in the basement. What I do paint is upstairs. We ship out of the dining room, and one day we'll have brick and mortar, but not yet.
Welcome
I'm
to
not,
a home business,
I'm
right?
not ready to. I don't want the overhead, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to be able to live in my home, you know? So,
Yeah.
but we decided to specialize in Christmas and Halloween. Halloween's huge, and people love it. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm not, like my porch is all decorated and everything, but it's fall. Pumpkins, mums, scarecrows, things like that. But Brad does have his bat and his skeleton hanging on the garage. He loves those. So we have a lot of skulls. I did a 2-day Christmas in July, and just for the heck of it, I put a skull on my table with a Santa hat.
Uh-huh.
It was the first thing I sold.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
hysterical.
People love the skull stuff.
They do. They do. I've got skull mugs I'm making right now to hold makeup brushes.
Oh,
They're
okay.
pink.
They're pink?
Oh, Sophie loved it.
A little
so
tough and a little
I thought, you know
soft,
what?
yeah.
I'll make a few more. So.
Awesome.
All right. Oh, are we out of time?
Oh, just about. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you for
Wrap
having
it
me
up.
on today.
Well, thank
this
you
was super
for my
fun.
opening show. Pretty soon I'll have an opening. I'll be all grown up. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to call me, text me, email me. I will answer you. I will get that question answered. So thanks for being here for my first show, and we'll see you next week. I haven't said that forever.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.